So that is the, as you know, the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Here it means not just kinchidadita, means not little bit. It means a little bit of the essence of the Gita has to come to us. Sara. But for that to come, we have to go through all the 18 chapters and all the 700 shlokas repeatedly for the essence to come within us. It is not possible that once we read it, or once we heard it, or once we, understood it, improperly, it's done. Every shloka is understood differently. So suppose you read it this year, okay? Read it next year, you'll understand little differently. Read it after another 2-3 years, you'll understand differently. So never feel that, I read it once. It's not a novel. It's not a fiction story that is not going to be, changing. It will, see, fiction story will be the same. Every year you read it, it will be the same. So then Bhagavad Gita, what do you mean? You'll ask that, do the shlokas keep changing or what? No, the meaning, the essence of the shlokas will seem different for us as our consciousness level changes. It will always depend on the state of mind, the level of our consciousness, how we are understanding any scripture. So Bhagavad Gita, don't take it lightly. Try to read at least. See, it's not important whether you understood, you didn't understand, or you understood fully and it was very, it really doesn't matter. Just like a routine, every day, at least read one chapter translation. It takes, depending on the chapter, anywhere between 3 to 10 minutes for one chapter. Only translation, not the explanation. I'm speaking of the 2-line translation. In whichever language you want, every day at least one chapter. And see the difference. See, after 18 days, you can start, another chapter. Again, chapter 1. So in a month, maybe 1.5 or a little more, you can complete. Try doing it every day, one chapter. Just the translation. And then you will know how the essence. See, it is, people won't believe generally when we say that read it every day, it will transform you, it will say, hey, nobody gets transformed. Don't believe in all that. Maybe nobody else is getting transformed, but you, as yourself, you should trust that you can get transformed. With the, conviction that I will read one chapter every day. Most of you, I have been telling this for last 2-3 years now, but I don't think you all are doing it. Every day, one chapter. How many of you are doing it, by the way? Honestly? Okay, 2 of you, very good. That's a good number. So every day, what I will suggest, continue that, and the rest of you, 5-10 minutes it takes, just one chapter. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to, contemplate. Don't waste your time. Just read it. Simply read it and leave it. Every day, like a puja. Okay, and then the essence will come into us. And next is Ganga. Okay. When we listen to this, we feel, Ganga Jal, somebody had gone and they brought Ganga Jal for us, the holy waters, and we put it in the house and we took a little sip and it was very purifying. No chance. No chance of all that, okay? When we had gone to Haridwar, we also had brought those bottles of Ganga Jal and tried to distribute it. And there is nothing, it's just water, believe me. So when he says Ganga Jala, he does not mean just the water. Just imagine where the water is coming from. Where is Ganga Jala actually coming from on the earth? Think, from the jata of Shiva. Okay? And it falls, otherwise it was impossible. When Ganga was summoned, okay, the way she came, the whole earth would have been drowned. So then Bhagirathi had to pray, and then Shiva had to take control of Ganga and tie her in the jata, and from there it will flow. So it means if it's flowing from near the Sahasrara of Shiva, then you imagine it is pure knowledge. It's nothing to do with water. So Ganga is understood as pure knowledge. So kinchid, little bit, jalalava, just a drop of that knowledge can purify us. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita is done, Ganga is done. Next is he says, okay, Mura. Mura means ego. And the one who can, you can say hold back, or you can say attack and finish Mura is Murari. So Murari is Krishna. He can actually capture our ego. How is it possible? How can Krishna, see, we have everybody, we are all functioning on ego. How will Krishna capture the ego? Again, very simple. The ego will be captured only when we are ready to surrender. We need to bow our head, fold our palms, hands, okay, bow down, surrender, and the ego is temporarily missing because the neck is down. That time Murari will come. But nowadays, our head is bowing only physically. Internally, the ego, the I-ness is intact. So when we are doing, okay, namaste, namaskar, we are not meaning or feeling anything. So when you do that, when we do the bowing down, somewhere we need to feel a surrender. It's very important that's why even in the yogasana, all the forward bends. Okay, when we are not able to attain, it means the spine, the person has too much ego. They're not flexible enough to bend down. So then you need to work on the mind and the body both. So when you're not able to bend and really bend, it means we still have a little bit of ego within us. So that means that ego is to go. When you bow down to Murari, he will kill the Mura, which is ego. So this was the meaning of this. Tasya, the last line is interesting. It says, Tasya Yamena na charcha. So there will be no discussion with Yama. If we do all this, there will be no discussion with Yama. So when does Yama, the god of death, come? Of course, when the body is ready to depart. Yama will come and say, Chalo, time up. And if you have done all this, what will happen? Then we'll discuss with Yama and say, Arey, don't take me now. I still give me 5 more years. I need to do that and this. Maybe. So there is some discussion inside when it comes to death, that another 5 years, another 10 years, another 20 years. Some discussion is going on with time, with Kala, okay, in our minds. But if you are doing this, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchidadita, Ganga Jalala Kanika Pita, and Sukradapi, Yena Murari Samacha. So when we are into all this, when the ego is low, when we are bowed down to Murari, when we have the sense of the pure knowledge, Ganga you can say, then Bhagavad Gita, we are constantly learning the meanings of the Gita or understanding the scripture, then we are not worried about Yama. There is no discussion about Yama. So does that mean that people who do this become immortal and the body never dies? No. The body comes and the body goes. But you will be immortal. You will not fear death. So that's important. Okay? So that means we will not discuss anything with Yama. When Yama comes, we will say, Chal, double seat. साथ में जाएंगे. Utna confidence, that much confidence needs to be there within us. And that will come when we do all these things. Otherwise, it will not be there. We will get worried, we'll get scared, we'll fear, and so many things will come. And it is natural. So to avoid that, we need to keep doing this. And when Yama comes, you'll say, okay, time, chalo, theek hai. Time up, let's go. That's the shloka, okay?